So you started at, I think it was 350.
Oh yeah. Oh, sorry. So yeah. So in this case, I started off with our cash offer, which again is an offer that we can close on. It's an offer that works for cash. But when we're giving our offers, remember, it's not just the money part that's important to them. It's also the time frame. It's also our inspection window. It's also a couple of other things. And as we get into how to put together an offer, you'll realize that price is only one of like 4 or 5 different things that are important to make a deal happen, right? It could be one of the heaviest things, right? Like if there's 5 things, they all are weighted differently, price being weighted for 50% of the equation or 60% of the equation, but all other things can move the needle. So we anchor them with a low price anchor with aggressive terms. So if there's wiggle room in the terms, then we can set it up for an ovation.
Yeah.
So in this case, going back
So
to
in this
that,
case, the house is worth fully fixed up, I think it's right around 550. So if we were to buy it and renovate the whole property that's 1,500 square feet, we'd be able to resell it to a family ARV for 550,000. So we offer 350. In that case, we're able to sell it to an investor for, call it, $399,000. They put in their 60 grand, they resell it, they make their money. That's how we make a normal wholesale deal if that's the offer that they wanted to accept. Right? So they would accept that. We'd resell it to an investor, assign it for 399. We'd make, 50 grand. They'd buy it, they'd make 50 grand after they do the fix and flip. This case, again, we're doing a deal breakdown for a real life deal that we just closed, right? I'm gonna share the screen with you. The terms did not match for her at that time, right? They needed time to get out of the house. They didn't need to close in 2 weeks, right? The house was in good condition. It didn't need, it wasn't beat to shreds. And so we were able to design an offer that worked specifically for her. And in this case, it's called a novation, in which we close in a bit of a longer time frame. So what I'll do is I'll pull up the actual screen that we have here with the deal. So ultimately, we ended up landing this contract at $400,000. Blader started at 350. She said, "No way, that's not going to work. I can never take 350." And he asked ultimately, "Hey, if we needed an additional, call it 60 to 90 days, but we could increase the offer, right? Is that something you'd be totally opposed to us doing?" And in this case, it worked better for her. And we were able to increase the offer to something that sounded so amazing to her because we paid $50,000 more than our cash offer. And so we landed at 400,000. The next step is an innovation. We're looking for families, right? People who are getting mortgages to purchase these houses to live in them. And so we take a look at the comparables. We know that it'll sell for 550,000 after it's fully fixed up. But what would it sell for in its as is condition? So what you want to do is take a look at properties for sale currently. Right? These are a bunch, and we won't dive into the exact numbers. But you want to look for houses that have very similar square feet, houses that have similar bed and bath counts, and houses that are similar in the condition. Once you find that, like in our case, we found them selling for 499,000 more or less. That's how much they're selling for. But we know that we're on a bit of a time crunch. We want to close it within 60 to 90 days. So we ended up pricing our deal at 479. Oh shit, what's going on here? We listed it for 479. Are you guys with me? Are you guys lost at any point? What kind of questions do we have so far?
And come up with your own.
sorry, repeat that. Sorry.
I said, does the agent needs to be the seller's agent, or you have to come with your own agent for listing the property?
You will put your listing agent or a listing agent that you partner with on the deal. The buyer's agent could be whatever other agent
Yeah, so you're
Yeah.
getting your own agent for these deals, cool, right? Somebody that has your best interest, right? And ultimately the best interest of the deal.
The important party for you here is your listing agent. They have to know what's going on and how to work the deal.
Okay, I don't know if that one is now, but how do you talk to them to vet them out to see if they literally understand what you're working with?
Good
That's
question.
a good question. Yeah, it's a good question. Chris, you want to tackle that one?
Go ahead, because my internet's coming in and out. I'm trying to fix it.
Okay, so there's a couple of things that you can do. Is number one, you have to make sure, and again, like Chris said, we don't want to get into the weeds here.
Yeah.
We're just kind of giving you a deal breakdown. Later on in the training, we're gonna tell you exactly and show you exactly how to set this up, how to talk to agents, how to find agents that understand novations. There's certain groups that you can get into. There's certain like again questions that you can ask. Again, you can blatantly ask them, do they know what a novation contract is? And agents that know how to do this, they would know how to approach it. Nothing really changes for them. The paperwork and everything is what's important for your end. They're going to be dealing directly with you and not so much with the buyer, with the seller, if you're doing it the right way.
Yeah. Yeah, let's not get in the weeds here because novations can get complicated if you're thinking about all the weeds. But let's try to think, big picture. We have the property under contract right now for 400,000. So in this case, we're able to find an end buyer because the property's in financeable condition. So the next step we do is we find the as is value, which turns out to be 500,000. We price the property with some equity, right? 479, giving the buyers roughly $20,000 to walk right into. Within, a week and a half, we have a pending sale, and then within a month and 6 days, we're closed for 475. All right. In this cost, we do have realtor commission and closing costs to pay because this is not a typical an assignment of contract, right? The seller's not going to have to pay nothing out of her 400. So out of the $75,000 spread we have, we'll pay for the realtor commissions and we'll pay for the seller's closing costs. And that leaves us with a $56,000 difference after you take off seller closing costs, and realtor commissions. Out of that 75, it leaves us with a $56,000 commission for ourselves.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that does. But does the seller's agent proceeds or commission also come out from your assignment fee?
It does. So it does. So you have a $75,000 assignment fee because you got it for 400 and you sold it for 475, but you still have to pay the realtor commissions, right? Let's say they have a 6% commission, you take it out of that, and then your whatever's left, that's what you'll make.
And a question. When you get into a novation, is the process go the same way for the fact that, like, let's say you find a seller, you put them under contract, or will it be structured differently in the sense that you would tell them we're going to go the traditional, or
It's not the traditional route. Don't get confused in saying that.
okay, so it'll be the same as a wholesale, just the assignment contract.
So no, the contracts are slightly different. It's usually not an assignment, usually a brand new contract, and we could provide it when the time is right, right, and when everybody's fully on board with it. The process is the same for the seller. That's what's most important about novations and why we're so good at it is because we don't overcomplicate it.
Yeah.
Ultimately,
you guys try to complicate this, and try to explain it, and not that you do want to explain it, but it's a process on how you're able to explain this to the seller where it doesn't turn them off on what's going to happen. Our leads, the people that work best with us, is people that need convenience, people that want to be hands off, and people that are okay with allowing you to pretty much guide them and take the kind of like the bull by the horns and kind of like, listen, we're gonna get you this money, and you got to really iterate to them, like, however we make money on the other side, whether it's through a partner, whether it's this, whether it's whatever we do, is that going to be okay with you? Yeah, I don't care. As long as I get my 400, I don't care if you make $1 million. You literally want them to almost tell you that. So when they do see it listed for free, because they're going to see it, they see it on the HUD, they see it on the closing. We knock on wood, we haven't had any issues thus far where people are, going crazy about how much money you make and all that, because we tell them up front, this is what we're doing. And they got to be okay with it. If not, then, it's going to be a tough road down the road when they see, oh, but you're giving me 400, but you're listing it for 480. What's going on here? Like,
Yeah.
you'll have and run into those problems.
All right. So that was our last deal. We made a good amount of money on it. Now let's jump back into like the regular wholesale cash world that we've been in, so we can kind of, because again, once you have to master that wholesale cash world to then jump into this, because once you have that framework, all you're doing is adding a tiny bit to it with the novations. Yaz, you want to jump in and take the address, and we'll go over the full way of how to look at this deal so we can make an offer on it.
I was trying to look for it because I was dialing off of batch leads and I'm just like learning still, obviously.
Don't tell me you lost it.
I can't find the address.
Okay, does anybody have an address of a deal that you've potentially spoken with the seller, and they're entertaining you, that they might be open to selling, and you want to know potentially how to make the offer, what numbers to look at, what's a good price to offer them, how to make the offer, all that good stuff?
Yeah, I think I do have about 10 of them.
Okay.
Should I let me get my laptop, because I'm doing it on my phone. Let me get my laptop and then I'll show you. I'll say the address.
Let's do that. Try to find a regular single family home if you can.
Single family home?
Yeah, if you have one of those, I think it'll be easiest for the demonstration.
Yeah, let me do that.
And then Yaz, whenever you find yours, we'll tackle it, whether this one or tomorrow or Thursday. That's super important, guys. If you're dialing, it gets easy on the dialer to get lost, and the next person comes and the last one goes. Happens to us all. Make an Excel sheet, right? Anybody you talk to on the dialer that's semi-remotely interested, write down their name, write down their phone number, write down their address, because we can't be losing these leads. They're qualified,
Facts.
Because the only way to find them is by, well, what I'm doing is getting their phone number from the reports of batch leads and then going back to my list that I pulled that I inputted into badge dialer and trying to find the phone number. But
Alex, what do you think?
Honestly, I have to look into it because I haven't really used batch dialer too much to know the best way. I'm not sure if when you put a lead and you put notes and things of that nature, does it save for the lead? Or if you put I'm not sure if you graded the lead or did something like that where you put that it was a successful lead or something like that.
Yeah, and that's what I'm looking for, but it's showing a woman and I don't speak to a woman.
It could be that you did that. It came up as a woman, but you spoke to a man. It could be her husband, something like that.
Possibly.
Ultimately, if you have the address there, it doesn't quite matter what it is, right? So at least we'll go over, the process. And if nobody has one, I know Cool Bright's gonna, and I need your name, Cool, so we could
I think I found it.
all right. Got it?
Yeah, so what do you want? The address? 505 North 3rd Street, Haines City, Florida.
All right. So we'll take a look at this one first. Look at this house. 505 North 3rd Street, Haiti, Florida. 3-bed, 1-bath, 864 square feet. We just had a conversation with the seller, right? He's like, hey, make me an offer, Yaz. You have me on the phone. You're the one who cold called me. You're the one who sent me a text. Now I'm asking you, what's your offer? Right? We're obviously going to apply a lot of the sales tactics that we went over in the last few lives, right? Trying to get a number out of them first, taking them through our sales process, through the scripts and all that good stuff. Now it's time to make an offer, or at least a ballpark price, right? What are we going to offer them? Let's take a look. I'm going to use Zillow. I'm not going to use any fancy websites. I'm literally just going to go off of Zillow to find what the house is worth. First thing we're going to do is zoom in. We're going to want to be somewhere in this vicinity here. All right. We don't want to go too far out. Second thing we're going to do is look at the sold properties. This is where you live, Yaz? This area?
Kind of like 40 minutes, 30, 40 minutes.
Okay. Let's reset all the filters. So we have, these are all the sold properties that have happened in the last few years in this neighborhood. Now we want to get a little bit clearer, right? We want to know what's sold recently. So we're going to take this and we're going to go and see what's sold in the last 6 months. Get even less, right? Lastly, let's remember our house is 3-bed, 1-bath, 800 and change square feet. So we can get a little more niche. We don't want nothing really over 1,250 square feet. At that point, it becomes like a brand new house. And that leaves us with right around, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 houses to take a look at. Ours is right around here. So let's take a look at these. First, we have this, which looks like fix and flip deal. 2-bed, 1-bath, 660 square feet. I'm going to want to see actually who bought this. Since we're already here, let's take a look at who bought this house. I'll use PropStream just for simplicity purposes. I already got it pulled up. So we have a single family homeowner who took out a mortgage on it, right? So it might look like a flip, but it looks like he bought it to live in it. Next, we'll look at these other ones. This looks like a potential piece of land. And then this right here looks like another single family house, right? It also looks like it's not in great shape. It kind of looks like ours, right? 3-bed, 1-bath, 800 square feet. That could be a good value estimate as to far as what our house is worth. Now I'm taking a look on my screen, and let me actually show you. And I could see that this property here was actually purchased by an investor. See that right here? Mackin Family Property Developing LLC. So this investor bought it for $80,000, and they own 3 on the same area, right? So this could be like the as-is value of the house. We'll take a look at the last comparable. The last one is $200,000. And look at this. We find a 2-bed, 1-bath, 800 square feet, similar to ours, 1 bedroom less, and it looks totally remodeled. I might not be able to see all the photos, but you can take a look at the outside. Obviously, it seems like it's in very good condition. So what could we consider this to be? Somebody give me the answer.
A fix and flip.
The ARV, right? A house that was already fixed and flipped, right? The ARV, the after repair value. So we could say, based off these comparables, there's not many because it's a pretty rural area, but we could say, Yaz, that house that you've been talking to, if you put all your money into it to fix it up, you'll resell it to a family for right around $200,000. All right. Why is that important? It's important because it goes back to how much we're going to sell it to an investor for. It goes back to this house selling for $80,000. This guy's going to take 50 grand, invest $50,000 into this home right here, and then he's gonna go take it and flip it for $199. Now, what does that mean for us? Yaz, how much? Now, you have the seller on the phone for the house you told me about, right? I don't remember the exact address, but right, you're talking to him. He's like, ultimately, he tells you he wants a certain figure, right? Let's say he wants 100,000. How much of an offer are we wanting to give him, and why?
You're saying if he wants around 100,000, what would I kind of price it at for him?
Yeah, let's say
So
hypothetically he says, yeah, I want 100,000, Yaz, but just tell me your offer. What would you guys pay for the house?
So probably lower a little bit, since in that area that's typically going for 80,000 and looks similar to the other one. So somewhere around 80,000.
All right, Tony, what would you offer?
I would want to see what repairs it would need on the inside and start deducting from his offer of 100,000. So ask him a little bit more about the inside. And then from there, I'd be probably less than 80,000.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so for me, and also I have all the addresses ready after this.
Okay.
So for me, I think, like you said, the repairs, the amount of rehab that needed to be done to it, and then I'll literally take out my assignment to how much I want to make from it, and then that will be the offer I'll literally give to them.
So what would that number be?
So let's say I want to make I don't know, what I use, maybe an assignment fee, I want to make like 10,000 off of it. So that 10,000 minus that rehab, then I think I'll do it times 70%.
Consider the house, right, that we're talking about is in the same condition as this one that we're looking at here. It's in bad condition, right?
Oh,
just what would you offer that house that we're talking about? It's in the same condition as this one.
To make it a cash offer, I think I'll be around the $30,000-$40,000 range.
Okay, and you wanted to make 10,000, you said.
With this price, probably 3,000. I'm cool.
Okay, Andrea. Andrea's away from the keyboard.
I'm here. Sorry, guys.
All right. Were you able to see kind of what you talked about with all these comparables to see what you would offer the house that we had been speaking about?
Yes.
Okay, so what would you offer?
Say that again. What I will offer?
Yeah, what would you offer the house that Yaz mentioned? That when we're talking to the seller and he's like, yeah, I want 100,000, but I want to hear out your offer. What would you be able to offer him?
Honestly, if he's trying to close at that price, I'll lowball it to probably 75.
Okay. Any particular reason as to why?
Because that gives me room to negotiate.
Okay.
I think.
Got you. James?
I think I would offer him 50.
Okay. And why?
Just because he wants 100, I'm gonna just go really low and see where we can meet at, like in the middle somewhere.
Okay. So everybody has different numbers. It seems like everybody has different reasons why. So let's establish a couple things. One, we don't give a fuck that he wants 100,000. He could have said 600,000, and it doesn't matter for our offer, right? What we're able to pay is what we're able to pay, right? So starting off lower to negotiate, let's keep that out of our head, and let's think about our offer and why it needs to make sense for us. Secondly, we just ran through the comparables, right? We just saw that an investor closed on this house right here and 3 other ones, and he paid $80,000. It's a very, very similar house, 800 square feet. So more than likely, what is an investor that has a house in the same condition as this one, right, going to want to pay for that house?
80,000 or less.
Right, 80,000. Now knowing that, where do we want to start our offer at with the seller?
Shit, like 50, 40?
Under 80, right? Lower you can go, the better. It's like limbo. But ultimately, we know we have an offer, right? We have a sell price most likely at 80,000, right? We have a comparable. We have an ARV of 200. So if somebody's gonna buy it at 80, let's start at 50. But ultimately, we know let's get to 70, and we'll still be able to make $10,000 and sell it at 80. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir. Like, it's clicking.
It's clicking. Yaz, it's clicking for you.
Yeah.
Cool, James. Does that make sense for you guys? Did I lose you with the comparables and stuff like that?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Okay.
Can I ask something real quick?
Yeah, let's do it.
So, and pertains to this like owner that I spoke to, he's being an asshole like from jump, right? And he was like, show me the money. Basically, he's like, the only way you're gonna talk to me is if you have money in your hand. And basically, I just like I try to like talk my way around it a little bit, but I just didn't really know how to go about that situation. He was like, "You're gonna even need to set an appointment. $500. Come see my house. I'm tired of people wasting my time." Which we talked about this. Like there is a lot of people calling his phone, offering him stuff for his house. So, and obviously nobody has fell through with it. So,
Later, you want to give some feedback there?
Yes and no. Guys, like I told you before, you're gonna have to go through all the frogs to find the prince, right? So this is it's just one of those things that yeah, they're gonna be assholes. Yeah, this is more practice than anything else, um, to be able to get through the process. Because for right now, like again, where you are right now in your level of skill, it's gonna be tough to get through to that guy, and that's okay, right? I would try to my best to just get the offer out, just to practice. Know that the guy's an asshole. He's gonna hang up on you. It's probably not gonna work. But boom, you got one no out of the way. Let's go get another one. Because again, remember the mindset that I told you guys before. If we have to convince somebody to sell to us, like really convince them, then they're probably not a good fit for us as investors. They have to be wanting to and willing to sell, and then to sell at a discount so that it could work. If this guy's starting off, I don't want to sell, and like this is not like for me, blah blah blah, then it's probably not going to work. I wouldn't tell you to eject and just not caught, but just go through it knowing that it might not work, and that's okay.
All right. Does anybody have any questions about what we went over, the process, anything like that? I know this was something that we haven't done before, right? Going over offers and what we could offer based on comparables and all that stuff. I know it can get real wishy-washy with a lot of these numbers getting thrown around.
No, I think you explained it simple. Like you made it simple. I didn't know how to do it, but it just seems very simple. Keep it simple. I mean, just match the property you're trying to offer to the other ones around the area. Find one that looks kind of alike. See what it sold for and what it can sell for at ARV, and then from there you just start shooting your offer. My only question would be that do you also estimate like what the property repairs would be, or like do you just throw a number out there like 5,000 to 10,000 would probably be a kitchen? Like is there like a frame for that?
Yeah. So there's a couple different ways you could do it. Ultimately, you do want to factor in the rehab. In this rough estimate case, you can kind of tell both houses are in bad shape, and that's why we were able to take a look at it that way. So in your sales process, you're constantly asking questions about the condition, right? The cosmetics, the majors, the roof, AC, all that stuff. It's good once you get deeper in this to get an estimate of how much each thing costs. That way you can get like a real exact formula. But if you want to get just like a ballpark price point, we've always